Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Well, what'd you think of the Super Bowl? It was a defensive effort, without a doubt, right?
Boring.
Yeah, 28.
It was a game I would have definitely turned to something else if it wasn't for the Super Bowl and I had to watch it.
Yeah,
for the purposes of doing my job.
Okay. The
Orange Bowl 2.0.
And I don't hate defensive struggles. I mean, it's impressive to watch a really good defensive football team. I think we saw that from our Red Raiders this year. But this just looked like the defense was good, but the offenses were just bad.
And New England they were just atrocious. I mean, they just couldn't do anything. They were completely overwhelmed by the whole thing. I mean, you had.
Think they're going to be getting some offensive linemen this offseason?
Or the two that they had, allowed to get better. I mean, they started two rookies.
Yeah, they've definitely got room to improve.
No question. There were a total of 28 drives in the ball game, and there were 15 punts combined between the two teams.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Chuck Heinz day there. I mean, there were 5 field goals, a bunch of punts. I mean, special teams was, and the Seahawks did a terrific job. With their punter and covering punts and downing the ball. They continued to put the Patriots, in a tough spot.
Yeah, their kicker goes 5 for 5, and that's a Super Bowl record. There was a scoop and score in the ball game. We talked about that a little bit on Friday. I think the hitting, especially in the first half, by both defenses, it was a violent first half. If you're an offensive member of either one of those football teams, because they were flying. I mean, and Sam Darnold's lucky. He's either lucky or good because he escaped some stuff, but he got away with some passes that New England could have intercepted a couple of those passes, deep in their territory. They had some opportunities, inch here or inch there, but it's always going to be, game of close plays, right?
Sure.
But the New England defense in the first half certainly played well enough to be better than 9-0 down.
Yeah, their defense deserves a little bit of credit too. They give them a chance at least. Yeah,
they gave them a chance, but it was like you said, it was pretty pedestrian at best. And the right guy, I thought, Kenneth Walker won the MVP for Seattle, 27 carries, 135 yards. Man, he was the difference in that ball game. They just kept giving him the ball, kept giving him the ball.
And they struggled in the red zone early on in that game, but he was the guy that was moving them up and down the field and getting them in position to kick those 5 field goals. Yeah,
Darnold was 19 to 38, 202 yards, had a touchdown. He didn't hurt him. And
he did not. He took care of the football.
Yeah.
And you're right. There were a couple of close ones, but the Patriots weren't able to turn them into turnovers and really change the game. I think they were playing a coverage towards the outside where it looked like, and you notice this right off the bat in the game, where it looked like they were kind of daring him to make some throws, and they thought they were going to be able to turn it into turnovers, and they just never were able to bait him into making a bad pass that cost him.
This from the Yates Flooring Center Challenge. First time I didn't see a second of the Super Bowl. Wow. What kept you away? Goodness.
You didn't really miss much, I'll be honest with you.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
And I'm not trying to rag on it. It felt like the game itself felt exactly like the weeks leading up to it, and that there wasn't a lot of hype. There wasn't a lot of excitement. There wasn't a lot to, be really anxious to see with the quarterback matchup that you had. It fit the billing of the lack of, anxious or lack of excitement from everybody across the country towards this game.
Yeah. It was just, and it was kind of felt like that when you saw what Seattle was doing, it's like, man, they were just dominant, with their defense. I heard Jonas Knox this morning right away on Two Pros and a Cup of Joe, and I think he's right. He said, I don't think anybody for Seattle had a bad day or a bad game.
Yeah, that might be fair to say.
By and large, and you touched on it with the punter and the kicker and the way that they, down the ball and gave them poor field possession, and the secondary for Seattle, and then the pressure that they put on Drake May and the number of sacks and, what the offensive line did to open up holes for Kenneth Walker and Sam Darnold not making the big mistake to give New England a chance. The New England secondary kept them in that game in the first half with, a number of just spectacular breakups.
Yeah, Hernandez played terrific. Yeah, he made some great plays.
Yeah,
no doubt.
It was fantastic stuff. Yeah. And there was a long stretch in there. There were no penalties. It was
until about 3 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it was kind of. I'm not saying it shouldn't have been called, because it clearly was. But man, that hole that Kenneth Walker, that would have been your signature kind of Super Bowl moment of the game, at least for him on that long touchdown run that got called back. But it was. When you wrestle a guy to the ground, that's pretty much the basic definition of holding.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, and I don't want to, not trying to make it about my team, but I'm with everybody else in America that watched yesterday's game and said the biggest loser on Super Bowl Sunday was the Buffalo Bills, because there's no reason. With the Chiefs being down this year, with the Bengals being down, there's no reason. To see the Patriots be so mediocre, it just accentuated the point that Buffalo absolutely missed a huge opportunity with a real quarterback and with an opportunity to get to the Super Bowl and who knows, maybe win it. But they absolutely, they were the team that everybody, I think, was looking at yesterday going, man, Buffalo shoulda, coulda, woulda been here, but they didn't get it done. And it
would have been a better game, no question.
Would have been more exciting for the matchup part of it with, a high-profile quarterback that, but Drake May is a really good quarterback. He had a terrible day yesterday.
Yeah, 6:40.
He's going to be really good.
This day in sports history is next.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is February the 9th, 2026. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Starting in 1951, St. Louis Browns signed pitcher Satchel Paige at the age of 45.
I guess he had a rubber arm.
A little bit. In 1957, sophomore Chuck Keys shot with 5 seconds left helps unranked Texas Tech upset number 4 SMU 68-67 in Lubbock.
Wow.
Yeah. So remember in 51 we were talking about Satchel Paige?
Yeah.
That he was signed by the St. Louis Browns?
Yeah.
In 1971, on this day, he becomes the first Negro League player elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, good for him.
There you go.
In 1988, New Hampshire begins an NCAA record 32-game losing streak at home. This would not end until February of 1999.
Oh, my God. Wait a minute.
Yep. Started in 88, went to 1991. No home wins. Ouch. 2006, Al Michael joins NBC's Sunday Night Football broadcasts with John Madden. And in 2025, At the Super Bowl in New Orleans in the Superdome, Philadelphia Eagles claim their second title in franchise history with a 40-22 win over two-time defending champion Kansas City. Jalen Hurts is your MVP.
Let me ask you this real quick. Do you think either one of the teams last night will be kind of considered a dynasty or have a chance to be a dynasty?
I don't. They have to win multiple Super Bowls before.
Right.
I mean, you definitely can't say that about the Patriots after last night. They haven't. You would say they haven't started their dynasty if they didn't win one yet.
Right. No.
So
right.
I don't think the Seahawks. They don't look like a young team that's, about to roll off 5 or 6 straight. No, or 3 out of the next 5 or anything
something like that.
Yeah.
It is National Bagels and Lox Day. No idea. It is National Oatmeal Day, which is celebrated the second Monday in February every year. And it's Pizza Pie Day.
Pizza pie.
I don't know why it's different than just Pizza Day, but, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, some people call pizza pie,
Well, that's a...
thicker pizza, right?
Well, it's round and you cut it into triangles. And it's pizza. So I get where they get the pie come from.
Yeah.
But why it's Pizza Pie Day as opposed to just Pizza Day, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although, not going to complain. Happy birthday to Michael B. Jordan, who turns 39. Tom Hiddleston is 45. Saquon Barkley, 29. Joe Pesci, 83. Carole King, 84. Jalen Green is 24. Danny White, 74. Vladimir Guerrero Sr., 51. And John Kruk. Remember, he's not an athlete. He's a ball player. 65. Might be one of my favorite quotes.
I mean, I wonder what John Kruk looks like at 65 because...
Probably a lot like he looked like at 45. Just a little grayer.
Hope he aged well because, man, he certainly aged young.
And
no doubt.
And on this day in 1942, Congress pushes ahead the standard time for the United States by 1 hour in each time zone, imposing daylight savings time. At the time, it was called wartime. Daylight savings time, suggested by President Roosevelt, was imposed to conserve fuel and could be traced back to World War I, when Congress imposed one standard time on the United States to enable the country to better utilize resources following the European model. The 1918 Standard Time Act was meant to be in effect for only 7 months of the year and was discontinued nationally after the war. But individual states continued turning clocks back ahead 1 hour, ahead and back an hour in the spring and in the fall. World War II legislation imposed daylight savings time for the entire nation for the entire year. It was repealed in 1945 when individual states once again imposed their own standard time. It was not until 1966 that Congress passed legislation setting standard time that would permanently supersede local habits. So what we're saying is, if you're really upset about daylight savings time that no one has complained about since the actual day that it happened, call your congressman and tell him to quit.
Wow.
And that is this day in sports history.
Okay. This day in sports history. 6:50 this morning here on the morning drive. I woke up to the news yesterday morning about Lindsey Vonn. I mean, of course, the time difference between here and Italy for the Olympics. That was really too bad. I mean, she ran into a gate, about 14 seconds into her run, and then that made her go out of control and ends up fracturing a leg and has to be airlifted off the mountain and had surgery and all those kinds of things. So that does it for her. But that was disappointing.
Yeah, no question. I mean, you wouldn't want that for
I admire
anyone.
the fact that she gave it a go and tried and all those kinds of things. But man, just really wish that would have gone a little bit better for her and her effort. But the United States still get the gold. A gal named Breezy won the downhill.
Breezy.
Yeah, Breezy. Yeah, Breezy. I mean that seems like a pretty good snow name, right? The skiing name, Breezy.
Sure.
I don't know that that's necessarily her given name. I don't think that was her given name, but anyway, but she won the downhill. We get this just now from we've not heard from him in quite some time. Our friend Darren from Buffalo. He says, "Greetings from Buffalo. I'm looking forward to Texas Tech baseball. Have a great day, gentlemen." And then he gave us a picture of Buffalo out his windshield this morning. It looks cold.
Yeah, I bet it is.
That does not look like baseball weather.
No, but I mean,
you should work on that.
He's just trying to warm up and survive the day. Would be my guess.
There
right?
you go. Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what it looks like to me. So
good to hear from you, Darren. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, good luck to your day today. So it's funny on the somebody asked on the touchdown by the defensive guy, was that a scoop and score or an interception for a touchdown? You know, they never really showed a good look at that and when I went back and looked, and they may have changed that, because when I looked at it last night as I was watching the game and I was sitting there with a buddy of mine, I was like, okay, was that a fumble or an interception? And it was kind of crazy how that looked, because it was like, part of it was like, was that was it because it looked like he was back to pass. It looked like his arm was going forward. Drake May.
They actually called it an interception.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chuck. And I remember thinking about it at the time. I thought it was a fumble that he ran back for a touchdown, but I thought to myself, I'd like to see that replay. Did the ball hit the ground before it went up in the air, or was that just him catching it out of the air?
Yeah.
And I don't ever remember seeing the replay. I wasn't that interested to begin with. And so my assumption was that it was a fumble, but it goes down as an interception, so no scoop and score.
Well, and it's funny because when I looked at the play-by-play on ESPN last night, right after it happened, they had it as a fumble, and now when I look at it, it says interception return for a touchdown. So my bad. So it was a pick six.
It was a pick six.
Then a scoop and score.
It was a fat man pick six. Let's get that right.
The best kind, right?
That's right.
I don't know that I would have called that guy a fat guy. I mean, he was...
Or a big man touchdown.
He's a big man.
He's a big man. He's not a fat man.
Yeah, he's not like a defensive tackle kind of guy. Yeah.
Darren sends us a picture of his dashboard. This is actual temperature, not just wind chill. Minus 14 in Buffalo this morning.
Darren.
Texas is just back down here, Darren. Come on back. We got some warm weather for you.
Goodness. God help you.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. I thought about you guys yesterday as I was watching the marathon of Super Bowl coverage, and I was on ESPN, and Sal Palantonio showed up in front of the Patriots Hotel, and he was talking about his conversation with Mike Vrabel and his message to the team, and then they had the graphic right underneath there of what time the buses departed. And he was right there in front of the hotel, and then a little bit later on, he was there as the buses were getting ready to depart, and I took a picture and thought about sending it to you, but thought, no, you guys really don't want to hear from me on a Sunday morning.
Why would you think about us? That's a you thing.
Well,
That's
no, because I
thing.
told you, I know, but I told you guys that was kind of one of my highlights, and I wanted you to know that I was able to capture it. But I decided that you didn't need to hear from me, that you hear enough from me, and so I left you alone. I did not hit send. Okay, I did not hit send. Did you have a favorite commercial from the Super Bowl last night?
Oh, probably the Dunkin' Donuts one. That was fun.
That was pretty fun. I agree with you on that.
The Bon
Goodwill
Jovi
Dunkin'.
one was right off the bat was good.
Yeah, and I thought about you when I saw that one. I was like, okay, Jamie's going to like that State Farm commercial.
State Farm did good.
Yeah.
Everybody that wants to advertise in the Super Bowl, this is what I want you to do. Watch what Budweiser does. Watch what Pepsi does. Do that. Don't just be bland. Don't try to reach for something you shouldn't reach for. Have fun with your commercial. Make a statement about it. Now, those two guys have been advertising in the Super Bowl forever.
Yeah,
so they've had a lot of practice.
Yes.
Use their experience. Was I being manipulated by the Eagle and the Clydesdale and Freebird? Absolutely. That's the manipulation I want.
Yeah.
That is what we are looking for.
Manipulation, it's word. Persuasion is the word. I think
It's fine either way. I'm totally get that I'm being manipulated in Pride of America and Freebird, and I'm the target audience for that commercial. That is exactly what we're looking for. Target your audience. All of the AI stuff. All of it. If it was the Bitcoin of a few years ago or the everybody.com commercials from like 10 years ago, where there's 900 of them, they're all the same, and in 10 years, none of them will even exist anymore.
I thought one that really just kind of caught my eye that I just really I appreciate the fact that she kind of made fun of herself and was the Kendall Jenner Fanatics one where she's shows her burning all the NBA jerseys and yeah,
that was funny.
Goes on to the
and then
NBA.
She shows that she's betting on the Patriots and they were losing at halftime.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Let's go for the ring, guys, and she points to her hand, which did not have a ring on it.
The one AI spot that I was most mad at was the one with Matthew Broderick, because he walks out of a house and says, "I'm going to take tomorrow off." You've got Ferris Bueller saying he's going to take a day off, and you don't use it.
Oh, okay.
He should have been in a red bathrobe, walking out of his house going, "I'm going to take tomorrow off." And then you do all the fun things for getting people to take the day off and hacking into computers and all that. You could have had so much fun with that concept, and you fumbled it.
This is what I love about our show. There's been no passion at all this morning about anything to do with sports. Jeff's passionate about how commercials have messed up and how, a Clydesdale and a bird motivated
Bald
him. Eagle. Yes, I get it. And I mean, that's us.
That's
That
us.
is so us. Yeah.
One of the weirdest one was the hydrate commercial. Take a look at me now, which was basically for you to examine your waist.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was weird. I thought the stupidest commercial was the Uber Eats one with the bananas and all that. I thought that was just really, really dumb. I wrote down the Lay's potato chip one with the dad,
the farmer and the daughter.
The daughter.
Again, that's those are the buttons that you push during the Super Bowl.
It's like, and then the Levi's, decided they wanted to do a commercial.
I could have done with about 10 seconds less.
Yeah, right.
Once you figured out what they were selling.
Yeah.
That's when the last one needed to be.
Right.
It felt like it was a little long, but I appreciated what they were doing.
Thank goodness I got
the point.
We didn't see like a construction workers backside with or a plumber.
No, but that would have been like
that would have probably
if
been
you'd
funny.
mix some of those in there, like you can be that kind of cheeky, pun intended, and still have some fun with it. But it got a little much.
Was that the tight ends one?
No, that was the jeans.
Okay.
The tight ends one was weird.
Yeah.
It was my favorite of the weird, though.
I thought they did a good job with that.
It was weird.
I thought they did a good job with that.
The Bud Light wedding one where the keg's going down the hill. That was good.
Funny.
Yeah,
Again,
that was pretty good.
Budweiser. They know what they're doing.
I wrote down 3 Budweiser. The Kurt Russell Ultra Spot.
I'm sad for you that you have to write down Super Bowl commercials that you feel like that's a necessary part of your job.
Well, I mean, I know that people were going to want to talk about it today, and
I also liked the Little Man commercial.
I took notes on the game too, Jamie. I mean, like, and I have like
this is terrible. Period.
Punt.
This was the worst
punt.
Super Bowl ever.
5 punts in a row.
This was less exciting than we even imagined because we imagined it was going to be very unexciting. Period.
I actually also liked the NBA promo commercial that they had there. I thought that was well done.
I wrote down the Minions. I thought that was pretty good. The Bosch commercial with Guy Fieri, I thought was pretty good.
I thought that one was incredibly dumb.
It was incredible, and they ruined it.
Yeah.
Like on my list, if I got to see it before the Super Bowl, you lost points.
Oh, I didn't see it before the Super Bowl.
I was avoiding them, and I saw that one before the Super Bowl.
Okay. I did write down the Goodwill Duncan one. I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty.
I also liked the kids for the Toyota commercial, where it was the Toyota athletes talking to their younger self about the future. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. Paul says this, more of what Jeff said. And I mean, I think you should screenshot that one, because not very often does somebody say about you or I more of what we said. I mean,
I'm just trying to make sense.
No, I know.
I don't need drug commercials. The car commercials were fine. The chips commercials were fantastic. I thought State Farm did a great job overall with what they did. TurboTax, what are you doing?
I know, that was really weird.
I get that they're trying to say that taxes are easy with TurboTax. There's 1,000 better ways to do it than what they did.
Especially with the amount of money
that they spent on this. Yes,
that they spent doing that and producing that.
All the AI stuff. Just every time an AI commercial, I was just like, ugh.
It's going to be the death of us, right? AI, is it going to be the death of us?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got 75 sci-fi movies to prove it.
I would guess probably Mountain Dew is going to be the death of me over AI. I don't think anything of AI is going to kill me.
Okay.
Probably the extended calories and sugar and, eating fast food and, that probably will do it.
Did you guys let your hair down over at the Lent house last night?
I don't know how AI would kill me.
Okay.
Well, first, we're going to give them access to the nuclear launch codes, because we're not going to trust ourselves with it, and they're going to be able to factor things faster.
Here we go.
And then they're going to determine that the humans are a danger to themselves, so we have to be protected from ourselves. Again, how many sci-fi movies do you want me to describe to you?
The Jurassic Park commercial was really good too.
The AI in that, the reverse aging was weird though. That was throwing me off.
Yeah, I thought that was clever.
It was clever. I don't know that it was done well.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, guys, I'm going to spin us back to Red Raider football today. I say back to, we really haven't talked about Tech football today, and so I'll spin us to there for the first time today.
Okay.
The question for you guys is today, and this is a question that we could ask again as we get closer to the season when we know more about the team, have a little bit more of an idea about the team. But this is my question for you today. As we sit here now, what do you think the strength of this Red Raider football team will be, and what do you worry will be a weakness? Hopefully the second one is harder to answer.
Yeah, because define... Oh, okay. All right. I think I got it. And it's on the same side of the ball, and it could be a problem. I think the strength of your team is going to be your quarterback, Brendan Sorsby. I think the potential weakness for your team is the receivers he's throwing to, because I think there's question marks, right? I think you're going to have a strong quarterback who has the ability to get the ball out there, but are your receivers going to be strong enough to get open and break away and be able to take advantage of his talent?
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm still going to go our defensive line. It's going to be our strength. It might not be as nasty as it was last year, but still looks to be pretty good next year. And, something that we've talked about a little bit, and stealing this from Rob Rowe, you could be a touchdown worse per game next year on defense and still be elite. So, yeah, I'm still going to go your defensive line, followed very closely by your linebackers as a 1A, 1B type situation. And I'm still going to go offensive line for where I'm worried that it's going to be a weakness. I'm going to keep saying that. until it's no longer a weakness.
What would define it not being a weakness?
To have it look like what the defensive line looked like. I'm a simple man. I've seen them fix the defensive line. I want them to do the same thing with the offensive line.
Do you think he's a simple man, Jamie? Jeff McGuire, do you think he's a simple man?
In some regards.
I mean, I'm weird, but I'm simple, okay? You have a stable of running backs that look awesome. You have gone out and got the best quarterback in the transfer portal. This should lead to a better offense, but if they're on their backside or there's no holes open for them, it doesn't do any good to have those guys. No. I need to see them impose their will on a defensive line like we saw the defensive line impose their will on everybody they played this year.
Okay. I'm going to say your strength is going to be your run game because I think you have 3 quality running backs. I think you have a quarterback that can also hurt you more with his legs than what we've had in recent years. And so I think your run game is going to be really good. I think your offensive line will continue to get better as they were better this past year, and they're bringing back a lot of starts and some good chemistry between the guys. So I think your offensive line will take a step forward as well, and so I think that means your run game is gonna be really good. I have a harder time with the finding the weakness one, but I think I'm the most nervous about your secondary right now because you lost a really, really good safety in Cole Wisniewski, and I don't think your pass rush is going to be as dominant as it was a season ago. And because of that, that means that your secondary has to be better than they were a season ago. Now, you still have Bryce Pollock, which is really, really good. I just think it's not going to be as easy for those guys in the secondary because your defensive line doesn't have 2 of the best pass rushers in the country like they did last year. I don't think you're going to be terrible rushing the quarterback at all. I just don't think you're going to be as good as you were a season ago, which makes it tougher on the secondary.
Okay. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Feel best about linebacker and running back, worried about wide receiver and defensive backs. Love that Pollock is back, but couldn't find a Wisniewski replacement. I mean, he's posting that about the same time as you're saying that. Yeah,
no, I agree with everything there. My number 2 area of strength, I would have gone linebackers.
This person says this offensive line was not a weakness last year. A strong quarterback should throw receivers open. I'm just reading it like it says here. Strength should be the run game. I'm afraid wide receiver is a weakness.
Just don't know. I think that's a fair thing to say just because of the unknown that comes with the wide receiver position with what we have. I mean, and it's really odd to me. I mean, I don't want to speak for anybody else. I'll just speak to from my own opinion in here. I never felt during the season last year that we were deficient at wide receiver until the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we had our moments where we had drops. We did. We had our moments where, and some of them came in the red zone, and so you were frustrated at times with drops. And so I can remember that through the course of the season. Not every week, but, there were some moments. But I never felt like we had a bad wide receiving core. And then you watch the Orange Bowl, and you're like, none of these guys can get open. None of them. I mean, nobody can get open, and that was the moment where, like, man, I guess we're not great at wide receiver. And so a lot of those guys that you were relying heavily on are gone, or at least a couple of those guys, and Caleb Douglas and Reggie Virgil, right?
Sure.
They were major factors. And so with what you have coming back that was big impact last year, obviously you have a tight end that factors into this as well. Felt like in some games he was the only one that was shining as a receiver, especially in the Orange Bowl. He was the only one. And so you're thrilled to have him back, but you got to have more than that.
Yeah, it's funny because you bring up the wide receivers, and I think you're right because I would equate drops different than what we saw in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, and then also factor in that you came up empty on your biggest wide receiver target.
Yeah.
This year in the transfer portal.
Yeah. Let's see here. 7:40 this morning here on the morning drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Somebody brings up with regard to the offensive line. What about all the false starts? Yeah, exactly.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
8:02 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. It's great to have you with us today. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Visual Edge IT hotline at 2 is open, 806-771-0973. Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark is supposed to make a big announcement tomorrow about the Big 12 tournament.
I heard that it's going to be sponsored by Chuck Heinz Enterprises.
Sweet.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, you're the one writing the check, so yeah.
Well, I mean, look, if we're going to write checks for anything, that Skybridge is getting built first across Indiana from the Womble to United Supermarkets Arena. That's first things first, if we're winning the lottery and, finding a way to spend some money. I feel like, and I have no knowledge of what he's going to say, okay? He's got some big announcement that's going to, enhance the Big 12 tournament and everything that the stakes for it. I have a feeling that there's going to be money involved for the players.
Wow. Okay.
That, like, whether it's the winning team or the runner-up team, and I'm going to assume that
I'm going to guess if the runner-up team's getting money, I bet the winning team is.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, if it's going to be some kind of earth-shattering, announcement, I just feel like that.
Who's paying the money?
That's a great question. I don't know. If it's the Big 12 itself, if they've come up with a, enhanced sponsorship for somebody, but the announcement will be made tomorrow, and Brett Yormark has said
if they have to do it if they're doing it for the men's basketball,
going to have to do it for the women.
Going to have to do it for the women.
Right. So I don't know. I think that that could be something that could be amazing if they did that. That would certainly make it more enticing, right, for the teams involved. If they make it so that you get a little money for winning the tournament, that it becomes a little bit of a game changer, doesn't it? At least for the players, it makes it more motivating. If you need to be motivated, but if you're I don't even know how to feel about all that. But that's just a thought.
Yes, and I guess I'm a little bit where you are, Chuck. I don't know what to think. I do know what to think. I think that it probably will motivate the guys. It's a little bit disappointing if you think about it and feel like they're not motivated already.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
But does it add excitement?
If it's a game changer for the players, man, that's disappointing to think that they don't really care. If it's a game changer,
mm-hmm.
If it just adds a little, cherry on top of it,
mm-hmm.
then I'm good with that. I totally understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like completely a game changer, that's a little bit disappointing.
Like, what if? And I don't know what the number has to be, but let's just say the Big 12 comes up with this pool of money, and let's just say it's $1 million, okay? And it's $500,000 to the team that finishes first, split amongst the players, and it's $250,000 for second place, and everybody else it's split up, going on the way down to team number 16, so that those guys get $1,000 each or whatever. I don't know. Does that intensify the Big 12 tournament? And this is what it says. Commissioner Yormark says they will introduce elements never before seen in the collegiate space, signaling a bold push to further cement the tournament as a destination event. Now, that doesn't necessarily speak to paying players. some would say maybe that's a
destination event.
Some of that is maybe is some of that.
Destination event makes it almost sounds like this is for the fans.
Yeah, is there a concert there or something like that, or is there?
Do you have any knowledge, or have you heard whispers of this paying the guys thing?
No, I
so this is just coming from...
This is just pure speculation on
from
me.
your brain space.
Yeah. I have no internal knowledge of this.
Well, it seems like something that it could absolutely happen in the near future. So I don't think that what you're saying is crazy talk, but I don't read that press release there and think that's what he's going towards.
Yeah. Just when I hear, when you hear game changing or enhancing or, I don't know that they're going to play this thing on the beach, I mean, to me, destination event would be like playing it on the beach somewhere. Is it
a destination event for the players or
or do the players does like the winning team get a, vacation somewhere? Hell, I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, so that's a thought. All right. I think the thing that you touched on at the beginning seems like it's absolutely could happen in the future. Yeah. All right. Couple things that I'm outraged about. All right. The ending of the Duke North Carolina game. Okay, where you have the court storm, right? And then you had John Shire, the head coach of Duke, coming out and saying that a couple of his staff members got punched and that they had a hard time getting off the court and that there should be more concern for player safety. I mean, I get all of that. I'm right there with him on all of that. Here's the thing I'm outraged about. Former North Carolina guard Theo Pinson. I got to admit to you, I don't know this guy. Don't even recognize that name. I don't either. But he admitted Saturday night that he punched a Duke player during the court storming. He said, I punched one of the Duke players. That's free licks. And so for him to admit that, North Carolina immediately should say to him, you're never coming back here. We're going to ban you from the Dean Smith Center. Why would you do that? Why would you admit that? Now, the ACC has fined them $50,000 for the court storm, which I'm going to assume that that's kind of in line with their protocol. Like, court storm number 1 is $50,000. Court storm number 2 is $100,000. After the player, Mr. Pinson, admitted to that, they should have just, you know what, we're going to double that. Yeah. We're going to double that.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.